Let's say that we're in this leadership course, and over the in this course, I'm going to go through materials. I'm going to learn leadership strategies and coaching models and things like that. I'll learn all that stuff, but I need a place to actually practice it. I could do, if we were in person, I could do an in-person role play. Those generally tend to be kind of vague, a little generic, and they don't really hit the mark. What if we could make something that's very specific and it adapts to each learner? So everybody starts at the same place, but depending on your responses, the coaching conversation will change. So I've gone through all this materials. Now I'm going to say, let's practice our leadership skills. So I'm going to have this coaching conversation with Alex about how he can be more effective in the team meetings and being more inclusive and including other people's thoughts. So if I were to start here and I click start activity, there we go. So now I'm going to start this conversation and I'm just going to say, hey, Alex, thanks for coming in. I wanted to chat about the project meetings and some of the feedback that people have shared with me, and I wanted to get your take on it. Alex is always open to feedback. He thought the meetings have been going well, but he's curious to see what the feedback is. And I'll let him know that people, the feedback I've heard, people feel like they're not given an opportunity to speak up. Do you have any ideas of how we could change that? And do you feel like you do more of the talking in these meetings? So having this natural conversation with Alex, and this is just the scenario that I made. You can make whatever scenario you want here, and I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. But Alex, he kind of sees it. He does tend to focus on kind of managing the conversation to make sure we stay on track and covers all the points that he wants to, but didn't realize he was leaving others out. So he's coming up with an idea. Perhaps I could start directly by asking quieter team members for their input. Maybe that's a great idea. Maybe I'll say, what else? What else could you do? And what's going to happen here is as I have this conversation with Alex, I have on the back end of this activity is I have certain criteria that it's going to evaluate me on, and it'll give me a score on how I did in those categories at the end of the conversation. So Alex comes up with some ideas, aside some time in the agenda for open discussion, allowing everyone to share their thoughts. I'll just let him know, I think this is a great idea. Maybe when you bring up a topic, invite others to share first. That way everybody has a chance to be heard. They'll probably share some of the same ideas you have, and you can be inclusive of everyone. And then so we'll just kind of end the conversation. Thanks, Alex. Thanks me for the suggestion. I'm going to tell him thanks for being open for change, and go ahead and try it at the next meeting, and then let's meet afterwards and see how it went. So now the activity already knows that the conversation has naturally ended. So now it's going to give me the feedback on those criteria, the points that I had. So clarity of feedback, this is what I wanted it to look for. You can set this however you want and look for something specific in your business, but this is what I set. And the cool thing about this is it doesn't have to just be a role play. It was a role play, but let's say now I want to have questions. I want to know how I can improve something. So let's say, how could I improve my guidance here? So now it kind of switches into coach mode. I do my best typing when everybody's watching. How can I improve my guidance? So now we go from role play to coach, just like we would in real life. I could ask the coach questions and get feedback. I can do the same thing. So I get some specific examples here. In the next meeting, after introducing a new topic, pause and say, let's hear from someone who hasn't spoken yet. Just having these coaching conversations, I can continue this on as long as I want, but I'll go ahead and I'll complete the activity here. So now as a learner, I see the entire transcript. I can download this, but now you as the admins, you can see on the back end how everybody is applying these topics that you're teaching. How are these conversations going? And what this does by being able to see all the conversations and the details that are happening, you have all of this insight that you never had before of how people, not just that they're completing the activity, that doesn't tell you anything, but now you know that they've completed the activity and you can see exactly what happened. So this gives you insights to find out where are people struggling? Everybody's having the same conversation, but where are people struggling? Where are people having the most success? This helps give me these data-driven points where I can make informed decisions about where I might need to adjust my content. Helps me tell success stories of where people are succeeding, how they're actually applying what we're teaching.